Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have The Ballad of Joey Fucknuts, part 1.
It's not the exact title, but we'll take it.
The part 1 of the Ballad of Joey Fucknuts, because that's what we're basically covering the 4 stories over the course of the next couple of weeks. And the first one is Joey Fucknuts builds a flying machine. So yeah, we're touching back down to Vulture Gulch, SCP-3885, because turns out CadaverCommander made a slew of stories surrounding Vulture Gulch, specifically its mayor. And we're gonna just see how creepy and weird and silly it is.
With this title, it's totally going to be serious.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's just dive into the rundown that I've masterfully assembled for this episode. So Joey Fucknuts, mayor of Vulture Gulch, and the living mutated dead therein, has been contemplating the sky and the freaky things that stay up there. Atop his burning tire throne, he stares at his notes painted in grease on the back of Vulture Vic's diner and reflects on his research. Birds, who need to be interviewed about their flight abilities. Enigmatic clouds that are just creepy. The scary and painful sun that hurt him for doing nothing but looking at it. And strangest of all, those sky arrow things that are clearly sending Joey messages that he just can't decipher yet. As he's looking on at his notes and reflecting on the sky, he is interrupted by 3 of his fellow townsfolk. Chef, a 4-armed mutant who makes the best scrap burgers and oil soup. There's Awesome, a muscle-bound behemoth who is awesome.
Yes, accurate.
And Flower, the prettiest corpse gal in Vulture Gulch, and to which Joey has a secret crush. Shh.
Adorable.
The 3 of them have a box with strange words on it, and are scared of the rattling sound that's coming from within because they're not sure what it is. It could be bugs, and that's just gross. So Joey, being a well-read man, possibly the only one in Vulture Gulch able to read, so a well-read man, discovers that the box is a package of Lego, specifically the parts needed to build a toy sky arrow thing, according to the image on the box. The trio are overjoyed by the prospect of being able to smash and rebuild, the prospect of building and smashing and rebuilding and smashing something, and leave Joey to ponder. If there are toys of those sky arrow things, that means they're machines, and that means they can be built. Joey is then motivated to go forth and build his own sky arrow thing. Till next time. And that's the story in a nutshell.
Yeah.
We're just gonna dive into the Grammar Inquisition. Sorry. Everyone tell her it's the Grammar Inquisitions at this point. Because I have one.
I also have one. Let's hope it's not the same one.
I think it might be the same one. 4 sky arrow things.
Nope.
Sort of like birds, but really high up and not flappy. Noisy. Not sure how. Doesn't come down. What are they pointing at? So it's hard to say. It's hard to pronounce the issue here, but doesn't has the apostrophe, or it doesn't have an apostrophe between N and T, and it should. However, it's written note taking from a zombie mutant dude.
So what the character writes.
Right. Yeah. And it does say that he is the smartest one of all, hence why he's the mayor. And he does know what writing utensils are from the before times. But
long ago.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just
He doesn't. I think I have a note on that. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. But yeah, so that's my Grammar Inquisition. So Mikey, the is real. Do you have anything?
Yes, I have a conjunction junction combined with it.
All right. And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
It made sense to him that there had to be something up there that he couldn't see. And he knew that there were things up there. It was written on the side of the ruins of Vulture Vic's diner in bearing grease. It was here that Joey began to enter dangerous and somewhat frightening intellectual territory. But he had no idea how to get there. It said Lego in white letters on a red and yellow background, and the words Boeing 787 Dreamliner, which didn't make any sense to him. But at the bottom and on other parts, he could see the words construction and kit and toy, which he knew. And it was in the sky. It was flying. And that box had parts in it to somehow make one of them. And you can make machine, Finn.
I think that changed a little bit.
It slightly changes, but it also kind of captures the bare bones of the story a little bit.
It also, like, the way it was going, it was like you're saying, like, there's something that holds up the sky and stuff, and it was saying like those words were written on the side of Vic's diner, but then also all the description of the Lego box was on the Vic's diner, and also that whole area was flying. So like Vic's diner is flying through the sky with this information on it. That's the way I interpreted that.
Fair.
Hmm.
All right. So is that it for your grammar inquisition?
Yes.
Okay. The gamer, you're up. If you say you found another inquisition.
Yeah, mine's kind of sneaky. It's not a traditional grammar inquisition. So mine is actually the first word. Joey Fucknuts lit 3 cigarettes. Blah 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 blah. Right. And Joey Fucknuts is the URL link.
Yes.
And clicking on Joey Fucknuts takes you to the SCP about the whole town, which doesn't really make sense. It shouldn't. I feel like the URL should be on the first mention of where they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get what you mean. I could.
Go ahead.
You know, you continue.
Yeah, that's my note anyways.
That's why I'm linked to it.
So yeah, for me, I don't know why his name here is what's linked, because I assume it's to make sure you see right out the gate that this is connected to the previous story. But still, I would expect it to be on the first mention of a location. Like later on, it says, like, still in the first area, it says it was written on one side of the ruins of Vulture Vic's Diner. And like the word ruins, that could be underlined. Because like the whole town is the ruins of a town, right? That they're living in.
Yeah. My counterpoint is that you want to get that link out of the way as fast as possible so that people can go check that out first to get the context. And Joey Fucknuts is, while he's not the focal point of SCP-3885, he's not even in it. He is mentioned and he is referenced in it.
Yeah, but so is Chef.
True. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you want to, like, if you're expecting you want to have this story. Okay.
My other counterpoint is to get to Joey Fucknuts Build a Flying Machine, it's 3/4 of the way down the main story. So it's not like that one's led right at the gate.
Where's that? What?
The link to get to Joey Fucknuts Builds a Flying Machine is in the main SCP. And it's highlighted under low intelligence or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's way the hell down there. So I personally don't think there'd be a problem
also
swapping from the first line to the third paragraph, which is still in the first area before you need to scroll anything.
Counterpoint. I also think that this is kind of like a tie-in to SCP-3885, which we covered last week. But I do feel like that link that's in SCP-3855 or 3885 that talks about Joey Fucknuts Built a Flying Machine. I feel like it should be in the one mention in SCP entry 3885 where one of the creatures or one of the townsfolk says Joey, which is at the very bottom of that entry. I think one of them does say, "Yeah, Joey said that it was said the boss was coming or something like that." That's just like a paraphrasing, obviously, but like it is in there. He's like the one person says Joey, and I think that would be a perfect time to put the link for Joey Fucknuts Build the Flying Machine story.
Counterbreaker.
Okay,
you're right.
What?
Confusing the hell out of you here. But also, I still think it should be at the word ruins here.
Okay,
in
fair.
this story.
Oh no,
changing
yeah,
that changing this one too.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, like for this story, I do feel like I'm fine with it being at Joey Fucknuts because I see the method to the madness. But yeah, to kind of like connect it stronger to like the SCP entry, or like have a little bit more stronger connection to the SCP entry, it should be something that's more affiliated with Vulture Gulch rather than Joey Fucknut.
Yes.
So I'm saying I agree with you, but I'm also agreeing with the story's use.
Okay. I still, you're not going to get me off of this soapbox on this one.
No, that's fine, and I'm not trying to. I'm just like stating my opinion on it. Weird. It's our show.
Opinions weird. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got.
Okay. So then let's go on to actual thoughts. Man, this episode's going really quick. So I'm going to start off with the formatting, because this story is not formatted like a regular story, at least like font size wise and stuff like that. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like the way it's formatted. So like with the all caps and bold red words for the notes that Joey takes on Vic's diner, like it's like a jot form note, but it's all in big red letters. And then there's at the very end of the story, there's like an inner monologue-y kind of thing, which I'll touch on later. That is very small font and yellow. And those are separated by like gaps of like or by break line or by gap line, or no, what's the word for that? I guess they're separated by spaces of from the regular text, like from the normal like 11 font like Arial sort of thing of the rest of the story. And I really kind of dig that for this story, because I think it works because it gives this story a bit more character and feel to the themes of the eccentric machinations of Joey and his kin in Vulture Gulch. Like it seems we're reading this story from it may not be like first person, but it's from the perspective of the townsfolk of Vulture Gulch. So yeah. I really do think it works as a as weird as the formatting is from conventional storytelling.
Yeah, I have a note on that too, where I basically just said I like how his findings are written out, and then it's then after the findings, it basically flashbacks to Joey doing his research on that exact thing. It's a good way to do it, to get both the immersive visual of what's on the wall and the story behind it.
Yeah, like any other way, like I'd improve upon it would probably be to actually like make a Photoshop of like a scrawling on a wall and just make that an image there for that to be the text. But that might be going a little too far. But I think that would basically be like the next step if you wanted to like really amplify. It kind of has like a similar feel to like the House of Usher, where it's like it's storytelling using the book, like the written book, and like these weird like different types of like how you would write to kind of build up the actual tension in your reader and anxiety in your reader from reading it, to kind of build like to kind of get the reader as much immersed into the story as a character would be. Mm-hmm. Because the House of Usher is about or I think it's House of Leaves. Sorry, House of Leaves is a book that is published and written with all manner of like bizarre font sizes and font colorations and different formatting in the pages itself as you're reading the story, because the story itself is about a house that constantly changes and shifts. So the story itself, like the physical text, are are augmented and changed and wrong compared to contemporary storytelling, and that is to give the reader as much anxiety as the character who's venturing into this house in the story. So it's a similar kind of format, or it's a similar kind of method, and I appreciate that. Mikey, you've been very quiet. How do you feel about this?
It's formatted.
So you like it, or
yeah? Well, we got a lot more formatting than some of the other stories that we've had that haven't had any formatting at all.
We did just get off of our April Fool's episode where it was just a block of text with no formatting whatsoever, and that was an obviously bad, like, or obviously good bad example.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So this is a lot nicer to read than that just giant block of text.
Yes. And again, weird, somebody from the SCP Foundation did a very interesting and unique formatting job on their story, but did it well. It's almost as if they've done formatting for like different types of like narratives before.
Yeah.
So
like I both hate and don't hate to say it, but this is like formatted better than probably 90% of the stories on creepypasta.wiki or whatever.
I mean, that's a little harsh. Notice I'm not saying it's your fault. You're wrong.
Yeah.
But like again, it's just like it's just the level of I was about to say level of competency, but that's really bad.
You're being meaner than I am.
I don't mean I'm not meaning to be that. Like I mean, like it's the level of like again like writer like or like authorship and stuff like that. Like it's all about editing, right? Like
Yeah.
editing
Because
is-
you're writing an SCP, it's so specific, and like
Yeah.
you need to
Like-
lay it out and be very thoughtful about it because it's supposed to be a professional team putting this information together. So in translating that into a story, that's going to translate over as well.
Yeah, or if you're used to having that kind of like editorialship in with like in like other things that you've done in your hobby, it would make sense that some of those skills would translate to when you actually are telling when you're telling a more conventional story, just non-conventionally. Again, like often writing is easier than editing work. Like writing down your story is easier than editing your work, as I have found out like from firsthand experience and from what I think a lot of people realize have come to realize when it comes to stories. It's certainly like something that we've pointed out a couple of times on our show. So since we have whole segments devoted to the editorialship of short stories. So okay, so bottom line from what I'm getting from over the formatting is that we all liked it. We actually all enjoyed it. Weird. Okay.
No, it was terrible.
All right, fair enough. All right. Anyway, so reading the actual story itself. That's my next segment on this. Oh, my actual thought. I could not help but read this with a mock American, Southern, or Western drawl. I was reading the story and it was just I could not help but read it like the woman was wearing what Joey thought was a very cute yellow sundress and carried an umbrella with a small flamethrower installed in it. Like I could not help but read it that way. Like it's right from the get-go, and I knew I was going into like the Vulture Gulch thing, and I think it's just I think it's more of just like a personal thing, but it also really felt in line with the characters that I'm reading about because it's like an old Western ghost town. I don't know.
I personally didn't get that drawl, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, I think
you do love that drawl. That's your favorite of all types of drawls.
Yeah.
How many drawls are there? That's the only drawl I know of, honestly.
I mean, like, yeah, I think it's just the American drawl is what I call it, but like I do it out of like I don't do it out of like I hate Americans, like, and that's why I like.
Of course not.
I do it out of love. I love that drawl. It's very like
awesome.
melodic. It's very melodic. Yeah. So like it reminds me of a simpler time.
Right.
Yeah. So and then we're gonna move on. I'm gonna move on from the reading. Unless you guys have anything about like while like any experience, any kind of comments about while you were reading the story, I will move on to my next thing.
Just like blanket statements.
Yeah, no, that's all I really kind of have for this story because like, I have a few things at the bottom that are a little bit more specific, but like yeah, I found myself like not really having anything specific to talk about on this story outside of just like how the story felt to me. So, okay, I'll just.
It usually happens to me when I read a story that I really like.
And weird for this story, for me anyway.
You say that,
yeah.
but I have a lot of specific notes here.
I know, that's fair. I also have some specific notes, but I'll get into those. And to my next one, actually, with the characters. So much how like the SCP entry itself, 3885, really gives characters to this town and its people, like just through like the interactions of and the observations of the drone and stuff in that. These characters are pretty well defined, all said and done. And in certain circumstances, play off. The story plays off the horrific angle as much as it does with the fun angle. Like to kind of like give an example of that, where we go to the thing I was just doing with the mock drawl. The woman was wearing what Joey thought was a very cute yellow sundress and carried an umbrella with a small flamethrower installed in it, which she had explained to Joey previously was supposed to burn the rain before it could make her wet. Joey thought that was pretty smart. Her natural, humble intelligence combined with her milky eyes and missing lips made her impossible to resist. Her name was Flower. Because she was very beautiful, Joey had a crush on her, but was too shy to ever say anything. So yeah, like case in point there, the contrasting description really kind of works for me on that end. Like, we're talking about a corpse creature, but like in the eyes of another corpse creature, she's the most beautiful corpse creature he's ever seen.
Of
With
course,
her milky eyes, like dead eyes, and missing lips.
and she's so smart. She figured out you could burn the rain with the flamethrower.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and that's the like, as much like there's a lot of humor here, but there's also some horrific things if you like look into if so like it goes from like humor to horror very quickly, but like it's all blanketed as like mundane.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the charm of it as well. And then we're gonna get to this section here. So that was a Sky Arrow thing. He knew it, and the box had parts in it to somehow make one. If that was the case, and people made toys out of the Sky Arrow things, then it was possible that the Sky Arrow things were actually machines, and you can make machines. And then we get that little like monologue thing at the in yellow. Think, Joey. You can see it. Gather your tools. Forge your people wings of glowing iron and fly. I know you can do it. Joey huffed a plume of smoke from his missing nose and frowned in determination. I won't let you down, boss. So, is this actually an inner monologue that he's having, like in that yellow tone?
Nope.
Or is it the boss speaking to him like through his mind, like through like some power? It kind of gives me a sinister vibe a little bit.
100%. I'm on the side of the boss.
Yeah. And I'll bring this part up, and then so going to continue with this quote here. Clouds did not appear to care. They also disappeared and reappeared, apparently at random, refusing to adhere to anything resembling good sense and order as Joey understood it. Joey did not trust them and suspected that clouds were things made by wizards, or more horrifyingly, wizards themselves. Really, nothing to say here. I just really love that line.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
But then we get this. The sun was more mysterious and threatening than even the clouds were, and he began to think that the sun was the cloud's boss, probably, which was why it was so strong and bright, just like his boss. Okay, so there was a bit of a segue between the cloud thing here, but it kind of ties into my comment about like the inner monologue that we get later in the story. I'm still thinking that the boss is the Night Hauler, just based on the hints that we get about the boss in this story. Perhaps I'm projecting a biased opinion here. Welcome to our show, guys.
Yeah.
And seeing what I want to see. But regardless, I'm going to continue looking for details to further my investigation that the boss is indeed the Night Hauler. Like, I'm sorry, when I read, think, Joey, you can see it. Gather your tools, forge your people wings of glowing iron, and fly. I know you can do it. That sounds exactly like what the Night Hauler said to the agent in the SCP of the Night Hauler. Like, I can feel your I want to taste your goddamn heart. Like, it sounds exactly like how the Night Hauler talks. And unless that's just what CadaverCommander.
You can read a nursery rhyme in that accent, and it sounds like the Night Hauler too. I think that's the problem.
No, I don't think it is. Hang on. The Night Hauler. I'm going to pull up that line. Hang on. Hang on. So
read a Dr. Seuss book in that accent, like Dr. Seuss is the Night Hauler.
See Spot, run, Spot, run. Yeah, so it's like this is SCP 389901, or the Night Hauler, talking to Agent Knowles. This is for the souls of the road, for the long nights and dead engines, and everyone trying to put that horizon under their wheels. I am the roar of hot iron. I am screaming freedom. I am death of all barriers. This rig ain't got no quit, honey. I do not stop. Can you feel the rumble? Can you feel the fire and smell the burn? I know you can. I can taste your goddamn heart, and I know you want to fly apart with me. I just love that fucking line. Also, and I will find every opportunity to quote that again. But yeah, it sounds. I might be just reading into like CadaverCommander's like writing on when it comes to dialogue and characters, but it just seems like it is the same character to me. That's
And I would not be disappointed in one bit if it was.
absolutely not. Yeah. So yeah, that's my actual thoughts on this story, guys. I left it off with I still think the boss is the Night Hauler. So, yeah, Mikey, these days for evil.
All right. Well, to continue your whole boss thing, if you remember last week, we questioned if Joey was the boss or not, and then joked that what if he just wears a hat?
Yes.
So,
Well, we do find out, yeah.
so what if it's not said, but he just wears a hat and it's his thinking cap?
God damn it. He starts like, puts it on his head. It's like, I won't disappoint you, boss.
Then takes it back off.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's like he's like pondering, like as his fellow townsfolk walk away. He just like puts the thinking cap on, and then it's like, think, Joey, you can see it. Gather your tools, forge your people wings of glowing iron, and fly. I know you can do it. Takes the cap off. I won't let you down, boss.
You know what? I would 100% see that being a thing.
Yeah.
These guys' intelligence.
Okay, so we currently have two working theories. Is that Joey's boss, the boss, is the Night Hauler. That's my working theory. But then we have this split theory that Joey is still the boss, but he's got a split personality.
Yeah. When he wears a hat and he's the boss.
Yeah. God, I love it.
And yeah, the other thing that I thought when I initially read this was that the boss is sort of like a hive mind.
Ooh.
So he can communicate to everyone of the zombie folk through thoughts, but only when they're not thinking.
Okay.
So he talks to everyone else all the time. Occasionally talks to Joey because Joey thinks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about what if like, yeah, he talks to everybody else. However, because they're always used to talk, like they're always talking to him because they're all dumb. It's just background noise. Like nothing's really getting said. So, but because Joey is the smarter of the entire batch, and because the discussions are fewer or farther between. There's more focal point there. Like there's more focus with the dialogue between him and Joey. Hence why Joey is the mayor, and then there's the boss above that.
Mm-hmm.
Or these messages that get sent to all the zombie folk, it gets put in their head as text, and Joey's the only one who can read.
Yes! Oh God, yes!
There's so many theories here.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, no, that's why the zombie apocalypse didn't happen. Is because none of them were smart enough to read. Oh my God, that is hilarious. I love it. Oh, why can't we have a movie like that? I want that movie so bad.
We're basically getting it through this story, at least.
Oh yeah, for sure. God, man, remember when our show was about horror, like a serious horror?
No.
Well, I think the thing with this is like, okay, like I was kind of like contemplating that because like I realized like we're doing Joey Fucknuts for like a month basically, so I'm expecting like silly stuff. But like my kind of like wraparound or my justification really of like why we're doing this and like not taking it as seriously as with other stories and stuff is because like this is a story. These are horror stories told from the side of the monster itself.
Yeah.
And so they aren't going to appear scary. Like I said earlier, there are some underlining tones, like again, like some contrasting descriptors that like as a reader, that's horrific, but to the characters in the story in that now, it's perfectly fine. And in fact, that's like what they consider beautiful sort of thing. Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm all right. Yeah. Backing up a bit. Mikey, continue.
All right. And then my final actual thought is in regards to the title, because he doesn't actually build a flying machine.
Yeah.
Hit backspace. I was literally just typing this out to add another thought in. I'll just backspace this.
Yeah, it really should be Joey Fucknuts plans to build or like considers a flying machine.
Or Joey Fucknuts, build a flying machine.
Yes. Oh my God, it should be the comma.
And remove
We
the
found a
S.
grammar acquisition.
The S has to go away too.
God, yeah. Joey Fucknuts, build that fly machine.
Yeah. That's what the end is.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm curious as to what's going to happen in the next story.
I know.
Like-
I want to read it right now. I can't.
We gotta wait a week. We gotta wait a week, guys, to even talk about it.
So my go.
I guess it is, since Mikey's being very quiet. So yeah.
All right. Well, my first note is I'm just going to be reiterating what I said last week. I'll say it again. I love hearing the thought process of these guys. Like,
Yes.
it's fun every time. And
Yeah.
Joey's thought process feels different to everyone else's because of how analytical and quote unquote smart he is.
Yeah.
Like, the way that they draw parallels to things and tie it to quote unquote logic is great.
Yeah.
Like, especially
Yeah,
with Joey, since he's like the scientist of the town trying to figure shit out, basically.
Yeah.
Philosopher or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, I would definitely count this as a horror comedy. Just because of how chill everything is and how ridiculous the concept is, but it is horrific in certain senses.
Yeah. And they're in a bubble basically, so they're not hurting anybody. So that removes
exactly.
a lot of the horror.
Man, I really hope one of the stories that we get has somebody talk to one of the security agents at the borders or at their boundaries.
Yeah.
I want to see that dialogue between Joey Fucknuts and Agent Mulrooney or something.
So my next note, it was written on one side of the ruins of Vulture Vic's diner in Bering, Greece. Joey had seen writing utensils before, but had forgotten about them after his death. So this line is kind of confusing to me because it's saying he's seen writing utensils before.
Yes.
But he forgot them after his death. So
here's
him remembering it wouldn't happen because he forgot about them.
Well, he gets fragments. I mean, we all have fragments of memory that we half remember something, right? I like this sentence I like this little bit here because it gives us more information about the world of this thing. Because first off, we have a geographic location in Vulture Gulch. We have Vulture Vic's diner, which I'm just imagining a cartoon vulture, as the mascot, as a mascot, on the diner thing, which is kind of weird because isn't it supposed to be a westerny kind of town? Or I guess it's also I guess it did shut down in the 50s. It did shut down in the 60s and 70s. Okay, never mind. My case remains. I'm still thinking of it as a cartoon vulture because it's from the 50s. The other thing we get there is he's remembering before he died and came back. So that we now have some more kind of hints as to the origins of these individuals, is that they were dead and then they were brought back by something.
But he had forgotten them after his death.
Yeah.
Is it he temporarily forgot them, but he's recently remembering them again?
I think that's probably what the case is, because again, with zombie fiction is there's often your brain dies, so your brain your brain dies for a hot minute and then gets reanimated. So you remember some things like patterns and stuff like that, but you don't remember all the things.
Yeah.
So my guess is my workaround for that in conjunction to the narrative and the world that's in the world of Joey Fucknuts is that these people were all dead or killed by something, and then they were reanimated, and so in that process they forgot some things, and Joey's one of the more smarter cookies, so he's remembering a little bit more than the others.
Not that he retained more memories,
yes,
that he was able to post death start remembering things more.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's just worded weird to get that point across, if that's what it's trying to say.
Okay, yeah.
Well, and with that line, who says he's using writing utensils? He could just be using his hands with grease.
Well, that's what I
assume.
That's what he is using, but he's remembering using writing utensils, but he doesn't have any of those, so he says the grease will do fine.
Yeah.
I think what's happening here, in this scene, and maybe you're right, Gamer, it is just written in a weird way, so that it's not translating across properly. But for me, I was thinking as he's it was kind of talking about how he was writing this in grease with his hand, kind of on the wall, and he remembers man, this would be so much easier. I remember using pencil or a pencil utensil back when I was alive, but we don't have any of those, so I guess the grease will have to do, kind of thing. That's what I was kind of thinking. That's what was going on here.
Okay, so then Grammar Inquisition, here we go.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be Joey had seen writing utensils before, but he didn't have any, so his hands would do fine.
Yeah, but we also
Like, the whole he'd forgotten about them after his death thing is weird.
Yeah, but I like that because that needs to stay for me, because that gives you a hint as to like some of their origins, or like gives a little bit more clue to their origin.
I guess it's weird because it's saying he remembers something, but he also doesn't remember something. Like, the sentence itself is contradicting itself.
It might just be semantic. Yeah. Like, how about like he like as Joey had been marking the wall with the grease to make the words. He recalled back when he was alive and before he was, or back before he died and came back. He remembers a thing called. He remembers using a pencil-like utensil to write words, but they didn't have any of those anymore. So,
okay,
or like this, like, you go first, actually.
Well, what if he has seen the writing utensils, but he's forgotten how they work?
Yeah.
After his death. So that's why he uses grease, because there's like a stack of pencils over here, but I don't know how to use them, so I'm using grease.
I know that they can be used for writing, but I don't know how anymore.
Yeah, so like Joey had seen writing utensils before, but didn't remember how to use them.
Since
he forgot how to use them after his death.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he used his hands.
Yeah, and then it's like, hands and grease would suffice, or would do just the same sort of thing. Yeah, like I think, it's kind of like a fragmented actual thought merged with the grammar inquisition.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Because
it's not just grammar, because it's also like, what are they trying to say?
Yeah, because I do feel like it needs for me, like it was clear what they're trying to say, but like obviously I'm one opinion on that, so it needs to be like kind of corrected in a way that still keeps some of the things that makes it interesting for me, because from my point of view, where like it's giving us a piece of information that we need, or that is helpful for the context of Vulture Gulch. But
yes, I agree.
It also needs to be legible or understandable to everybody.
I agree, because them losing memories and stuff, that is very important information. So yeah. All right, moving on.
Okay, I did not expect us to get stuck on that.
Yeah, really, it's fine. So, in the first section, birds, Joey liked learning, which is why he was mayor. So, like, with the town being what it is, Joey seems like the best choice for a mayor by far, at least from seeing all the other people, because he's doing more himself, and he's doing more for himself and his kind than the guy who's setting his head on fire for 20 minutes, you know? So
yeah, like I'm literally imagining like we if we were like go back to the SCP entry where like the observer drone's like there, like watching the dumbasses in the or the dumbass dead in the square, like lighting their heads on fire and stuff, and then like in the background, like there's a fuzzy figure, and then it like zooms in on that character, like, and like suddenly the foreground becomes fuzzy, and like Joey becomes clear, and he's like writing like some like notes on a wall of like of like certain like things, like he's actually like trying to like remember things and trying to like help things along.
Yeah,
it's like, this is a house. Like just writes in like in Greece, just house, like he's understanding again. Or like trying to like
he's like 1 + 1 = window, as he puts like horizontal lines between them to connect them into a window, but he's still thinking.
No. 1, one, and then he does the plus sign, and then 1 = window, because the plus sign is the cross in a window. Or did you just say that?
I did.
Okay.
Sorry, I just said that.
I'll just shut up.
It's a joke. That's fine.
Yeah, sorry, I goofed up.
Future Cultist might edit it out.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, like, I imagine like he's like trying to teach some like other zombies like in the background behind, like in front, or like behind that like the firehead thing, and then like he turns around, like it's like, see, and they're all gone. They've gone over to the gasoline guy, or the gasoline dude.
Yeah. It's like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's trying to teach them again, but like they're too like set on being dumbasses.
Yeah, he's gonna have to find a creative way to teach them shit.
Yeah,
it involves like fire and explosions. Like, how many explosions is this?
Yeah,
whoa.
It's like 1 car plus 1 car smash equals explosion.
That's just math.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to section 3, sun, with the sub information of fuck, shit, ow, fuck. So I mean, it's funny and everything, and it gets my attention. I'm speaking of just the title and the description to it,
just the like
and like what's written on the wall. But like in the lore, did he actually write fuck, oh shit, oh fuck on the wall?
Yeah, I'm totally guessing that's what he did.
Like all these other notes, he's putting down legit facts. And this whole section, even the description underneath it, he doesn't really record 100% to the same level that he would in the previous one. It just says he watched it all day and his eyes hurt. I'm surprised he didn't start it with, the sun flies over us like the birds and clouds do. It stays up like the clouds do, but it doesn't change shape like the birds do. It moves really slowly. It takes from morning until nighttime for it to completely fly over us. It's the slowest thing I know of. And then it starts going into how looking at it all day burned his eyes.
I see, but I think it's more of like the catchy part of like ow fuck, like that's his first natural reaction, because that's the most like pain that he gets. Like that, like pain is the first and foremost like priority for anybody, for anything. So that would be the first note he would take would be the pain.
Yeah, and maybe he's writing down what he's saying, so it's like the castle R scenario.
Yeah. Oh, these guys would totally be the kind of people to do that, like to write, and then the boss came and the world was
Yeah, but no, I still think it should be
okay. Fair.
Yeah. He should have something written on the wall, because that's what he's doing with everything else.
Well, like the clouds. He fears the sun.
The whole point of this wall is for him to record information so he can learn. What can he learn from fuck, shit, ow, fuck?
I mean, it's in line with his people, like how they react.
No one can learn anything from that.
I mean, you say that.
Don't stare at it too long. Fuck, shit out, fuck. Then okay.
All right, fair enough.
There's nothing there. There's nothing to learn from that section. Is the long and short of it.
Okay.
And then, still in the sun section, began to think that the sun was the clouds' boss, probably, which is why it was so strong and bright, just like his boss. So we're getting into a bit of info about the boss here. So, but based on that description, the boss sounds like he's some powerful, visually bright thing as well.
It says Night Hauler.
No, but it's like visually hard to look at.
Truck high beams. I would point out the truck, like big hauling trucks and stuff like that, do have massive light setups on their trucks.
I didn't think about the light thing.
Yeah.
So like every time the Night Hauler speaks to them, he's just like facing them directly with the high beams on.
Exactly.
What an asshole.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, I'll let that pass then. If that's actually a thing, then great.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the boss to be the Night Hauler. CadaverCommander, if you ever listen to this, can you please? And if it's not in any of the next stories that we read for this, could you please just send us an email like confirming whether or not the boss is the Night Hauler? Please
find out. Regardless, we have our own headcanons that we'll load with whatever information we want.
Fuck you! I do what I want.
So moving on to section 4, sky arrow things. So these people have knowledge of things, but not all things.
No,
like they know what a car is. They know what fire, cigars, the sun are, etc. But they don't know what planes are.
Yeah,
I wonder
that makes
what
sense.
the limiting factor is for this knowledge. Is it because they were basically programmed to only think about ground vehicles? Because their boss thought that they didn't have the intelligence to fly a plane?
So my guess here is that first off, they were reboot. My guess is when they were reanimated, they were to a degree rebooted. Also, if this place has been here since the 60s or 70s, airplanes weren't as common back then to the regular people. So that might have been something that was just forgotten. And that's assuming that all of them were people from the 50s and 60s that died. Maybe they are older bodies that were reanimated. So I think it's just kind of playing off of these are simple folk who are at the current stage. They know ground vehicles, and the idea of air vehicles is heaven sent to them. No pun intended. Heaven sent knowledge.
But they also know heavy metal and shit. Was that around in the 60s? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that shit was. I mean, again, there was radios in this town, so therefore, they probably adopted that after being reanimated. Really, we're just dealing with a bunch of greasers and zombie greasers and zombie. Actually, I guess it's just, yeah, like those guys who would drag race in the 50s and 60s.
You mean greasers?
I was trying to. I thought there was another word for it, but I guess it's just greasers is what I'm thinking of. It's
Yeah.
just grease. It's just grease all the way down.
Pretty much.
Grease is a horror game, or Grease is a horror story.
Yeah, it's better for that. I do like Joey's assumption that the planes are trying to send him a message. They're like pointing at some weird code that he has to decipher.
What are they pointing at? They're clearly pointing at something. They're arrows.
Yeah, like if I was sitting here writing down the story, I wouldn't come to that conclusion. I'd just be like, it's a bird that doesn't flap, and that's it. Like that's all I would think. But the fact he came to these as arrows and a combination that he has to decipher is really sweet. I hope he does decipher some weird ass code from that.
I honestly don't think there is a code. He's just reading really into this whole arrow thing.
Oh, I know, but he might, through his insanity, to like actually fake out his own mind to think he's discovering some weird code in the sky.
Wait, most of the arrows go this way. That's where we all gotta go. And then they break containment.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's a airport that's over there, and then they all go immediately to the airport because that's where most of the planes went.
Yeah. When their sky arrow, their own sky arrow, inevitably fails, and they finally decide, like, we got to find out where these things are leading us. So they start heading over that way. It's like, that's where they land. Let's get them, boys.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we get a zombie infestation into an airport, just some kind of some like desert airport.
Then all the planes crash before they can take off.
Oh God.
Right, then we move on to when like Flower and Awesome and everyone are there, and it says Flower's laugh knocked Joey out of his reverie. Reverie is not a word I've really read before, so I learned a thing in a story called Joey Fucknuts. That's weird.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, it's being like lost in one's thoughts and dreams and such.
Yep.
Like daydreaming, basically.
We're learning. Whoa! Yeah.
And yeah, my last note is just the orange font at the end. I like how it's really clearly something different. Like it's completely tabbed out, different color, huge spaces in between.
Yeah, like even from the get-go, it was like, this is something important, and this is probably not Joey. This is somebody else. This is something else.
Maybe it's orange. It's like a yellowish sort of color because the headlights on the truck are like a yellowy. They're old school headlights.
So like what I'm imagining is like the high beams are like blaring, but like they have like they have font in them, and that's what he's seeing in his mind's eye. Yes,
like a stencil over top of a headlight. It's like a Batman thing.
Yep. Oh my God.
That's it for my notes.
All right. So on to final thoughts. So if you've read SCP-3885, obviously this is just furthering the material of that entry. So if you liked that, you need to check this out. If you haven't already, after we've talked about it for like maybe less than an hour. This is a very fun little vignette or like a snippet of everyday living, it seems, in Vulture Gulch, possibly leading to something more. And that's what I like about it. And that's why I'm looking forward to the next story. So I don't recommend it, guys. No, it's pretty dumb. Not scary at all. Just like
not even a creepypasta really at all.
I know. Like, why are we doing this? But no,
shouldn't even be on the show.
The joke aside, I would recommend this because this is hilarious. But it's got creepiness. It's got the creepy themes. It's a horror comedy, is what we're reading, really. And I absolutely love it for that. So, like, if you want something that's SCP but doesn't take itself too seriously, by all means, check this one out. And look forward to our rendition or our discussions of the next few stories of the Ballad of Joey Fucknut. But that's my final thoughts and recommendations. So, Mikey, these stands for evil.
Well, my number one issue is that there's no actual flying machine built.
Yeah, that's really what
one can. I mean, Flower and Chef and Awesome went to go build one. They built a Lego one.
This is a primer for what Joey's about to do.
Yeah, But that's not Joey.
Joey Fucknuts is going to build a machine. Joey Fucknuts is going to build a fly machine. That's what it should have been called.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that aside, it was interesting seeing what Joey came up with for his ideas of birds and clouds and sky arrow things, and sort of his thoughts on things that fly. And then the realization that, there's a machine that can fly. Ho, 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 ho.
And we like machines in Vulture Gulch. We build them all the time and explode them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they fly, so just from the explosions themselves.
They fly temporarily. They never stay up there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, I'm going to give it a recommendation.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend this as well. I still love this. This story didn't make the previous SCP any worse. It only made it better. It fleshed out more of what the zombies are like. We are one human friend away from this being a legit buddy horror story that I've always dreamed of.
Yes.
That's all we
I agree.
need. It's just a normal person to come in here and be a friend. Like Joey Fucknuts makes a friend, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I really hope that one based off. Now, sorry.
That may be a contender to topple the epic of Who Was Fun.
Now, here's the problem I see with this, because this title is kind of deceiving. So that title might be a little. We'll have to see in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the last story of the series. Like, there's like 4 stories I think in total of Joey Fucknuts, and we got 2 more before that one. So we'll have to see what happens.
He just gets like a bird friend or something. It's not like a person.
I mean, he does say it's like we'll have to interview the birds.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I love like it's again like it's not serious like horror, but it's definitely like I still count it as horror and like spooky stuff because we're dealing with zombie mutant things, like just living their best life out in Vulture Gulch.
Mm-hmm.
It's just charming to a degree. It's like charming horror, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like their thought process is freaking hilarious and awesome. It's like if you took an alien and just teleported him here, he'd be like, I don't understand any of this. What is this?
Oh, when you mean alien, you don't mean like a xenomorph, right?
No,
because that'd be a very different. Yeah, it'd be like what are we doing here?
No, like a little gray.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Paul. You know what this is? This is like, oh God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. This is that zombie movie, Warm Bodies, that was like a zombie romance comedy.
Don't ruin the story for me. How dare you?
No, but like it's that kind of thing where like it takes them, or you know what this is? This might also like I need to see the movie like fully, but from the trailers and stuff I've seen, this is kind of reminding me of Psycho Goreman, which is about a like galaxy destroying like Power Rangers villain, but like super graphic and gory. But the person that finds finds that monster when they crash, like when they are finally unearthed after they crashed on Earth like hundreds of years like prior, the person that finds it and finds the control node to control it is a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, doesn't that just become Gamera?
No, because Gamera actually maybe like late stage Gamera, but like early Gamera was more like actually just like a Godzilla movie with like an annoying kid in the movie. But like, yeah, that's anyways. But it's like that kind of thing where you like pose a creepy, like monstrous, like terrifying thing that will like rip people apart in gory fashion, but they have to do the whim of a 12-year-old girl. So like. Mm-hmm. It's that kind of like
hijinks ensue.
Exactly, it's that kind of like horror comedy hijinks sort of situation. Is kind of what I've been getting the feel of. It's what I've been like rambling on about through this entire dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I love it, and I look forward to the next story to see where it goes. So if this is shorter than some of our other episodes, the reason is because we really liked it, and it was really hard to pick away at it. So. Yeah, you should check it out. I think is unanimous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that doesn't go horribly bad and turn into Warm Bodies or something.
Oh God. So that was this week's episode. If you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below. It gets posted, whether it be on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr. We're all on Twitter. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow without that W because his name is very long. And I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, SCPs, SCP affiliated stories, cryptids, spooky things, monster stories, all that kind of stuff. Let us know if you have something that you'd like to share with us about it. And we will discuss it. We will talk about it, review it, read it, the whole shebang. If you'd like to help support the show financially, you can go to Patreon, look at Dente Rigor Mortis, and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tier with special episodes, early access, extra content. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay. And as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, like CadaverCommander, thank you immensely. Because without your listenership, it'd be like speaking into the void. And without your authorship, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we wouldn't have these awesome fucking stories to read and discuss and talk about. So thank you.
True.
So until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigor Mortis. Sleep well.